Hi, welcome to Azariah's Fiber Arts. My name is Sarah, and I am the artist and designer behind Azariah's Fiber Arts. Hit the like or subscribe button anytime while you're watching. All right, let's get into it. I want to show you how to work the Kitchener stitch to join your live knitting stitches. This is a very common way to close the toe of socks. I have also used it to close the open end of a tube, the two open ends of a tube together on a cowl. I'm trying to think what else I've used it for. Kitchener stitch has a lot more application than just closing the toe of socks. All right, if you want to follow along, here are the instructions of how I got here. All right, take your empty needle and slip the stitches for this one onto here. Do not change any of the positioning, just straight slip them. All right, I got one on one needle and one on the other. I'm going to turn one needle around. Everybody needs to be closer to the point on both needles. And I have them wrong sides together. Now, normally what I would do, and what you can do if you left a long tail, is use the long tail that you left. I'm going to use the blue so that it's contrasting and you can see what's going on. Sorry, I got confused for a second. I work them this way. Some people have a setup that they work for the Kitchener. I personally do not. Using the blue yarn, or whichever, thread your tapestry needle. Start there. Okay, so like I said, I don't have a setup. I have a tattoo that reminds me what I need to do for Kitchener stitch. It's very simple. Here's a picture of it. Yep, that's it. And it's where I can look down, like as I'm recording this right now, I can look down and see it. And I just start with what it says, which is K, off. All right, and that's on the front. And then it says P. So we're going to purl. On the next line, which is for the back needle, it says P, which is purl. And it says off. So that one's going to come off. And then next to that, it says K. And that's still on the same line, so we're still on the back needle. All right, back to the top line, which is for the front needle. It says knit, off. All right, you see I'm pulling these, let's get this guy off, pulling these tightly, but not too tight. Don't like strangle things, okay? Because then it's going to be very obvious that you've done something, and it might even feel weird where that seam's at. And then we're going to purl and move to the back needle, where we do purl, off, and knit, as you're doing this, you're trying to not split yarns. Right to the front, knit, off, purl to the back, purl off, and knit. And that's all there is to it. And you just keep repeating that, the 4 steps. Knit on, so on the front, it's knit, off, purl. On the back, it's purl, off, knit. If you get lost or have to put it down and aren't sure where you are, it can be a little tricky to find. First thing you need to do is figure out if you're on a front needle or a back needle, and if it's time for a knit or a purl. It's like if I were to put it down right here, I've just worked a front needle. I can tell I've just done a purl stitch. Okay, well on the front, the purl stitches don't come off. So it's time to go to the back. Now, if I have this guy off of here, and I had to put it down and come back to it, well, I don't have any blue back here on this back needle. So it must be time to put something blue on the back needle. The only thing that gets put on the back needle and left there is a knit. So I'm going to knit. I usually try and do the Kitchener stitch when no one else is around, when I know I'm going to have enough time to hopefully get through it and maybe even have a buffer in case I mess up. My mom has done so much of it, she can do it anywhere and with anyone around and not think a thing about it. I have not made as many socks as she has. And when I had to do that cowl, that was 200 and some stitches. You know, we're only grafting together, what, 10 or 12 here? That was like 200 and some stitches on that cowl, and it was crazy. Here's a picture of the cowl. It was a fun project. Crazy at the end. That's where my mom drew the line. She made the same cowl, not nearly as long as I did. She did not Kitchener those stitches together. Instead, she just closed the tops up and turned it into a hat. So when you finish all the steps, like this is knit off. No, hang on. I did the wrong all kinds of stuff on that one. It is purl off, but let me do it in the correct loop. Okay. And then knit. So I'm at the end. I need to have the same amount of stitches on the front needle and the back needle, and I do, which means I'm doing good. Not missed anything. We've not done an extra something on somebody here, which is something you could do if you were talking. I'm semi-impressed with myself here as I'm recording this and telling you stories and not messing things up. Oops. And that happens sometimes, just picking back up. Kitchener is not the easiest thing to have to pull out, but sometimes you have to pull it out. Sometimes you'll reverse some of the steps, and I'm not even sure how I've done it, but I'm also not the only one that I know that's done it. And I've ended up with a purl bump on the outside of my seam instead of the stocking knit seam that you're, you know, the reason that we're doing this. Yeah. Hang on, I've got some grass in my yarn. There we go. All right, where am I at? The back. Okay, so just like I don't have a setup, I don't really have an ending either. Okay, so I finished the back, I'm gonna come to the front, it's knit off, and there's not another loop to do. I usually don't pull this guy off until I've done the back loop as well. The back loop is purl off, so we're gonna purl. Pull that through, pull the knitting needles out. And this is loose because it's the end that I didn't weave in. And then there's your Kitchener stitch. And you can see my purl stitches are twisted because I should have been purling them in the back loop because of the way I work them. I just learned something. So Kitchener stitch grafting. If this tutorial was helpful for you, please hit the like button. Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you for watching. If you have more questions, you're welcome to leave a comment below or email me, Sarah@azariasfiberarts.com. Happy making!